Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I am bringing you a 2vs2 31k for Rome Total War. Interesting enough, as you can see, I'm using the Seleucid Empire, a faction I very rarely use in 31ks. I do find them quite challenging and difficult to use, but it is fun to use them from time to time. My ally here is the Honoured Your Boy, or better known as Dreamy, the Wolves clan. Opponents are Macedon under the command of Zerberus, and this fella here had a bit of a crudish sort of name, so I won't bother saying it, but he is in command of the Julli Romans. He was sort of a bit of a random guy, but he does appear to know 31k rules. So I've got the most standard Seleucid army, which is 10 silver shield pikemen, 4 silver shield legionnaires, and 6 cataphracts. Dreamy's army consists of 4 Cretan archers, 4 armoured hoplites, and 12 Spartan hoplites. And these two armies, Macedon is 12 raw pikemen, 2 Cretan archers, and 6 companion cavalry. And the Julii are, I think 6 Praetorian cav, 2 Triarii, and 12 urban cohorts. So initially what we're trying to do is going to move in, when Zerb came up like this, we're going to move in rapidly onto his flank and try and knock him out together. But what I'm going to do with the Seleucids here is support and try and look after Dreamy's archers and just hold out the fight for as long as possible against Rome, because I can't beat Rome in an infantry fight. In fact, that's generally what I always do if I use the Seleucids, to try and hold the infantry fight off unless I'm pretty confident, or I'll do stalling tactics. But I've got quite a bit of work to do, because I've got to take on both people's cav, and the Seleucid cataphracts, well, definitely great cav when they charge through and stuff. They're not as responsive as Praetorian cav, so disengaging them from fights is more difficult. Plus their morale is not as high, but of course they do have the armour piercing weaponry, and they obviously have higher charge. But I always find Praetorian cavalry to be more overall useful than cataphracts, but cataphracts can be very dangerous when used properly, and so I'm going to try and be doing in this fight. So at the moment I'm just using testudos here to soak up peeler shots from the urbans here. I've got a couple in loose formation, they'll throw some of their own peeler. My silver shield legionnaires cannot compete with urban cohorts, but they can stall them and hold them up, and that's what I'm going to do here. In the meantime, I'm trying to keep my cavalry close to the to Dreamy's archers, because Dreamy can help me in the archer fight, flaming shots. Now what I'm going to end up doing here with my guys here is I'm going to start falling back, playing very defensive. Now I didn't notice this straight away, and I fell back into some of Zerberus' raw pikemen. So he's going to kind of get a couple of my silver shields out of position here and attack them. But I managed to hold that out surprisingly well, because raw pikemen will thrash silver shield pikemen otherwise. Over here, as you see, I go into testudo and I put it on guard mode, and I'm just going to hold up as many of these urbans as possible with them, basically for as long as I can. And I do manage to do that for quite a while, which was quite good. Although Zerberus is going to bring his cav in here, and I'm basically just keeping my cav near the archers, but near enough to respond if I need to. Now he's going to throw lots of peeler in on my silver shield legionnaires, but all this infantry work for me is just stalling. I'm not trying to do much, because as you can see, the Spartans are destroying the raw pikemen. Spartans thoroughly outclassed. So basically all I'm doing is trying to stall. Now initially I was going to charge through here, but I forgot to lift up this pike unit, so I didn't actually in the end. But as you can see, I regroup units, and I'm actually starting to hold my own in here just by having 3 versus 2. Here again using my silver shield legionnaires just to hold these urbans at bay. And again, I'm just going to shift my guys back. I push these guys forward, and I'm just going to put pressure down on them here. Now I probably got a little too close, and I received quite a bit of peeler, but I'm going to disengage again. I'm just trying to keep my cav with the archers, trying to hold out any need for a cavalry fight for as long as possible. As you can see, my silver shield legionnaires are actually holding out against these urbans quite well, surprisingly, which was good. But all I'm trying to do is stall, as you can see, because the Spartans, except for in the centre here, are actually destroying the Greek player. Now he does charge, Zerb charges his companions in, So I'm going to start sending my cataphracts this way, and I think at this stage I was going to put fire arrows down. Now, interestingly enough, I think he was trying to get my Silver Shield Legionnaires, but he charged his cav too far and they ran straight into my Silver Shield Pikemen, so I killed a bunch of his Praetorian cavs. That was kind of easy free kills there, so I was pretty pleased with that. So he was going to flame these guys, and I was going to charge through here. Well, I kind of do a little bit, but I don't stay around it because I realise I'm going to go through a bunch of pikes here, and that's not really worth it. Now, here's what I'm talking about, trying to disengage cataphracts. I've already told them to disengage about 3 times, and look how badly they, how sluggish they are to try and come out of there. That's what I mean when you use cataphracts. Although they're very powerful and dangerous and cause some serious routes if you get good charges in, and they should defeat a lot of other infantry in battle, other cavalry in battle rather, getting them out in 31k can be very difficult. So over here I got two of my Silver Shield Legionnaires destroying this raw pikeman. Now, I'm not sure why Dreamy put his cav this far over. He should have kept them around my cavalry so I could cover him, but I couldn't protect him and help him in the cavalry fight and look after his archers at the same time, unless I divided my cav, which would have been ineffective. But as you can see, I pull some of my pikemen in here to help these Spartans finish off the rest of these raw pikemen. Interestingly enough, although he got rid of the archers, the Roman player is not moving his infantry in, that's costing him. So here I charge my cataphracts in, and I'm going to swap over to the mace in a moment. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. I got the mace out now, and that means I can destroy these guys in a grind down fight like this. Got a good charge in as well, so his companion cavalry are going to get destroyed. I decided to disengage here though, or at least some of them, so I can move them more around the side, as you can see, because there was pikemen here. I was trying to push them back so they wouldn't get engaged on the pikes. As you can see, we destroyed the royal pikemen, and still got tons of Spartans left for it, so that worked out well. The stalling tactics worked well. Here, these units get isolated, but again, it's just stalling them, it's holding them up for a long time, and I'm able to destroy those companion cav with my cataphracts. So at this stage we're going to reform our lines and take on the remainder of the Roman army. Here I'm just going to get the last of these companion cavalry from Zerberus. Try and pick up some of these routers if possible, although they'll probably be able to outrun me. As you can see, I still got a pretty good number of my pikes. I must have at least 7 left. I think I lost 3 of them fighting against Macedon and Rome, but at the very least it's severely stalled Rome from supporting as quickly as he really needed to, and left Zerberus to fight too much on his own. So I get 2 of my Silver Shield pikemen here. I'm going to put them into loose jacks as a peeler screen, because this will protect both me and Sparta, because Sparta's still got, well, the Greeks rather, have got plenty of Spartans, and there's still a few armoured hoplites, and they should be quite useful here. So let's just go to triple speed. My cataphracts did take a bit of a beating, but they're still pretty strong. Now what he does here is he starts moving out onto my flanks here, with his guys here, as you can see, moving in on the flanks, but I'm not too bothered. The Spartans come out right out into this flank, which is fine. I'm going to charge through here, try and get his guys, but then I see he put his pikes down, so I will pull out of that and just come in it from behind. I've got to watch these cav though, because I am a bit depleted in the cav department. And one of these companions actually came back, and Zerb is using it to get into these guys. I didn't spot this, to be honest, if I'm honest. But at this stage, the Spartans are destroying this group of urbans over here, and I'm just pulling my cav back around because I'm going to get rid of these guys, because I'd like his Cretans to start using flaming arrows on these Praetorian cavalry. So I decide to turn around and charge them here. He probably gets the better charge. As you can see, my cataphracts are tired and they're fresh, so I probably will actually lose this fight, although I probably take quite a few down with me. But these Spartans pull in to help me, and when that happens I should be able to defeat them. And when I do that, I'm going to send these guys around, this unit around, and I'm going to encircle it. At this stage, just holding his infantry out until the Spartans can come and help me. This is where the Roman player should be really pushing hard and attacking my Silver Shield pikemen, because he should be able to defeat them quite easily. And here we close the gap with my cataphracts coming around and destroy the remainder of the Praetorian cavalry. And now the Spartans are going to move out into the flank. And at this stage he starts pouring his Triarii on the flank. I'm not that bothered. The armoured hoplites are here to actually cover that anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest. And he gets hung up on my peeler screen, and then I'm going to start pushing my pikes in a moment, bringing my cataphracts around the flank. I just want to try and effectively pin him up as much as possible. The cataphracts are going to be pretty limited now, because when cataphracts get down to very tired and exhausted, they honestly are not necessarily that effective, and you're going to see what I mean by that. So I'm just going to mop up the last cavalry units before I go in, because these Spartans are going to come behind. Now my Silver Shield pikemen should be able to hold for a while. They won't win, obviously, because they're way outclassed by Roman infantry, but they'll be able to hold out for a while, and the Spartans are going to get the flank, and they can compete with Urbans, which is going to be good. So we've got this side kind of curled up or wrapped up. Now I think I end up going for his general in a moment, or at least that was the actual intention. As you can see at this stage, these guys are actually fighting over here. They're doing quite well because they had numbers working there. And I was going to push through to here, I think. Here I get a charge in here, but I haven't got much momentum. My guys are exhausted, so cav charges are not that great at the moment, but it all helps. Over here, this unit surprisingly holds out for quite a while. I'm going to support with these two units. I'm going to push them up a bit further. Here we see the Roman general, so I think will Dreamy message me, and we're going to target that unit as well. As you can see, the Spartans are just tearing up the enemy line. I'm going to pull my cataphracts into the flank over here, and then I'm going to pour in these two units of Silver Shield pikemen, and that should effectively help. They actually did help quite a bit. Even this Silver Shield pikeman is apparently able to hold out and even say it's winning, so it's quite something given that these are Urbans. He actually pours his archers in. I presume they're either out of ammunition, or he figures he can just use them to encircle, probably out of ammunition. As you can see, the Spartans are destroying what's left over here. Now here my cav kind of glitched. Some went this way, some went this way, until I had to double click and eventually get him to go this way, and I charge into the flank of his urban cohort, but it doesn't rout, probably because this is general's unit, and I'm trying to kill his general because that'll lower the morale of all his men. And as you can see, we're just tearing through them there. Spartans break these Urbans over here, and my Silver Shields are holding out, although they're a bit of funny angles here, but I still got some of my cav left, fairly depleted at this stage. And here I see his general out in the open. I'm going to try and get them out in the open like this, and Spartans come running past. I don't know if that routs them though. They might rout. Probably not though. Trying to get rid of the general is always a good idea, but he doesn't appear to want to rout, to be honest. He might have already been killed actually. Anyway, I'm going to charge into the back of these guys here with my cataphracts. Again, because they're so exhausted, the momentum of the charge is not really very much. The general finally routs, and then these two Spartans are going to come in from up here and support my Silver Shields. And my cataphracts are almost totally gone now. But with these archers in the flank as well, these Urbans are encircled between Spartans, Silver Shields, Cretans, and a couple of cataphracts, and these guys are starting to rout en masse at this stage. And I'm going to put the remainder of my cataphracts in, all 6 of them, and help, but it doesn't matter at this stage, they're already routing. So as you can see, there you go. A close one. Not always the easiest to use the Seleucids in my opinion, because their infantry is pretty weak in comparison to the other factions they'll be facing, particularly Rome and Greece. But I mean, Macedon, Carthage, they'll all defeat Seleucid infantry. Pontus will defeat Seleucid infantry. But cataphracts are fairly useful, and of course there's always chariots as well. So I got 1,238 kills. I was pretty pleased with that, to be honest. That was pretty pleasing, because I don't use the Seleucids very often because they're pretty tricky at sometimes in 31k. Then Dreamy has 1,942, very, very good. And the others have both got respectable kill counts of 1,208 for Zerb and 1,651 for the Julii. Let's have a look at my stats. The cataphracts, only a couple of them really did that well. I would have preferred them to have higher kills than that. I always find them slightly tricky to use in 31k. They can be very powerful if you deliver the charge right. but it's always very hard to get them to sort of come out of fights when you want them to. But nonetheless, they did pretty good and played some pretty good support, and they did defeat the companion cavalry. So overall, they were pretty effective. And got a surprisingly high number of kills with some of these Silver Shield Pikemen. Usually you don't get many. I mean, I think 4 of them got over 100. That's pretty damn good, because Silver Shield Pikemen usually don't do that well. They just hold stuff in place. The Silver Shield Legionnaires, they were good because they don't got many kills. What they did do is held them in place for a long time and soaked up a lot of Peeler, which helped my Pikemen later on, which was very good. Overall, when it comes to Seleucids, I've seen a few people in 31k get like 3 chariots and 3 cataphracts. I really don't recommend doing that. I recommend either getting all chariots or all cataphracts to maximise the strength of that particular unit. Going half and half kind of gives you 2 different strengths, but not enough of either, if you know what I mean. So I personally find getting either all chariots or all cataphracts to be the smartest move. And generally speaking, people will get the cataphracts because when they want to use chariots, they use Pontus. However, I sometimes use the Seleucids just because people think, right, he'll have cataphracts, and then suddenly I've got chariots instead. But I mean, countering Seleucids, archers are always great because archers can tear through the Seleucid pikemen because they've got very small shields, so they don't have much resistance to archer fire, unlike like Macedon, Carthage, or the Spartans, or the Greeks in general. And, I mean, just Rome's always a good counter. I mean, Macedon's a good counter. Carthage is a pretty good counter as well, to be honest. You know, they're trickier to use because the infantry is not as strong, but they are versatile, which you know, is very, very good. I mean, they're much more, I think they're more effective in CWB because of how much versatility they got. But in 31k, because there's a limit, more of a limit on cavalry, and there's also a lot more infantry in use. And Seleucid infantry, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's decent. But there's always plenty of options with the Seleucids. So anyway, good game to Dreamy, Zerberus, and the Julio player. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you soon next time.